We talked yesterday, and we said where we were sometimes last year, we are on the precipice, and explained countries which have been on the precipice, and those that have tipped over. Look at Somalia, a failed state today. Look at Sudan, a failed state today. Look at Egypt, there was the Arab Spring. In Tunisia, go to Egypt, military regime in Egypt. So when we were at a stage where Kenya could actually easily take over and become a failed state. So it was then necessary to take emergency measures to ensure that we did not get into the precipice. It was necessary to make compromises in the interest of the country. This is what we did, and we don't regret having taken that the action that we did. We did it in the best interest of Kenya. But I also talked yesterday about good governance that we want to see in our country. The issue of corruption is a cancer in our society. And you cannot really develop that irrespective of all the kind of steps you take, unless you actually tame this animal called corruption. And corruption exists almost in every aspect of our life today. People only focus on the corruption in the executive. Yes, corruption is domiciled in executive, it's there. In all other sections of executive, both at the national level and at the county level. This you must deal with. In procurement, in the revenue collection, there's a lot of corruption in the executive and in the devolved units of our country. But the corruption also exists in the legislature. In the legislature also there's serious corruption to make a lot of noise. But in fact, these members of parliament in committees, they take me into a party committee, just to go do extortion. That is also corruption. There is sometimes someone, the heads of these parastatals, threaten them, you must do A, B, C, D, otherwise you're going to do this and that and that. That is also corruption. So in the legislature, there's corruption. Even in the so-called CDF national government, they're insisting on controlling it, not for any other reason, but because they're benefiting. Then there's also corruption in the judiciary. In the judiciary, there's also corruption. There are money for judgment. Somebody tells you that if I can bribe the magistrate or a judge, why should I hire a lawyer? Then you bribe the judges and get the kind of ruling that they require. So even in the construction in the judiciary, there is also corruption. So it's there, and we need to fight it. In the media, there's also corruption in the media. Under the pretext of exposing corruption somewhere themselves, they've been given money. So September has been awarded corruptly. They have been given money by the losing contractor to try to fight so that the award is cancelled. Media is not exempted from corruption. So we need to fight this corruption in all spheres of our lives in our country. That's when we're going to have a country that can develop. And most of our efforts are not going to go very far.
Things to say. One, I want to express my gratitude and my thanks to my party leader, Raila Odinga. Even during my absence, when he was going around the county in Siaya, at every function he appeared in, including funerals, he gave his messages of hope and prosperity, but he never forgot to mention to the people that I am just around. I thank you, my party leader, because you are the leader of a party which has got troops all over the republic. Secondly, my party leader, we have a very strong leadership in the county. I want to mention in particular the Speaker of the County Assembly, Mheshimiwa George Okode. At every moment, he has stood firm. And people have been asking, why is Okode saying things on behalf of the governor? But they forgot that the government in Siaya is an ODM government. ODM is controlling both the executive and the county assembly. If you go to America, the Republicans are in charge, and when they're in charge, it does not matter whether you're in the executive or in the in Congress. When it comes to matters of leadership and the country, they speak in one voice as Republicans or as Democrats. Thirdly, I know, as a matter of fact, that my party leader is being guided by ideological foundations of reform and change. And at every sitting and every meeting and every conclave, that is the new word, he never forgets that he is a messenger of the people of the Republic of Kenya. And it does not matter whether he's in government or outside government, he still serves the people of the Republic of Kenya. And for that, we are eternally grateful. Yesterday, you sent a great message to Kenyans in Homa Bay about compensation of those who were killed or maimed during demonstrations. And that is a piece of good news. And you also emphasized the question of reforms, particularly police reforms, so that they live and abide by the Constitution. I hope that the police should be advised in a democracy and in a nation that lives in accordance with the dictates of the Bill of Rights, that any police officer engaged in matters which brings you into contact with civilians, particularly when there are demonstrations, you are not supposed to carry operations when you're in civilian clothes. A lot of the people who were killed during the demonstrations, many of them were killed by policemen who were not in police uniform. I hope that we are going to insist that the policemen who engage in demonstrations by way of maintaining law and order should wear police uniform so that goons don't take advantage of their being in civilian clothes. Secondly, policemen should never be deploy snipers. You know, some snipers are people who are trained to kill. And when you see a sniper during a demonstration, you know that his major objective is to maim or to kill. So all this with the announcement which were made yesterday, we must get the police back to law and order, and they go back to the rules that govern how the police should deal with demonstrations.
Let it be clear that we are in the broad-based government. There is a form of cooperation and understanding to reduce hostilities and tension in the country that we're in danger of tearing our country into a failed state or a no state. And that is why the Right Honorable Raila Odinga relooked and rethought and accepted to join the broad-based government. But even though we are in there, we have not forgone and we will not forgo our oversight responsibility over executive. Dr. James Nyikali is the chairman of the Health Committee. But collectively, in the National Assembly, we are still the minority. And we still oversight government. Courtesy of the Right Honorable Raila Odinga, I am in the Public Accounts Committee, We oversight government, and anything that goes wrong, we correct. When you point out something that is going wrong, you are not an enemy. You are actually a friend. That is why when Dr. Nikal points out the shortcomings in SHA, he is actually intending that SHA must work properly. That is why when, like now, we are probing some issues with e-citizen, we are not against government. We want to make sure that the 50 shillings every Kenyan pays actually goes to the taxpayers' coffers and not to any individual pocket.
If a bus is going down a river and plunges into the river and kills people, the people who are removing the dead bodies will be paraded on newspapers and praised. But if somebody stops at the edge and advises the bus driver, don't go, that river, that bridge is broken, nobody will remember that person who flagged the bus to stop. That is Chacom.
Dalani musiko Urokuri telwa Idomu machien Wagiri Purkiro Mange Lodge Telwa Yomu machien Kumjingi Yesu Kristo. Amen.
Baba! Oregi Koko! Baba! Baba! Baba!
Nikech Bob ochako koda kapod aja 22 years to Bob oserwaka weche mag siasa to ema pod antie nyaka sani ni. Donga mano Bob ne mane opuonja wechego mana ma jakristo makugogo kanyo watiyo kode maber ka an bende an ofis no odhiro weche mag siasa wan be wakonye koni gi koni.
Kidwa pamo to linga. Ka ng'ato wacho mare, walugi ma Raila wacho ga ni wewe wach mare no ibi wach mari.
Wena neno kedo riemb thuondi sira. Wena neno kedo riemb thuondi dok chien. Wana wera kwa donje dala e polo. Wana wera kwa donje dala e polo. Wana neja era Yesu lwanda e polo. Wana neja era Yesu ngeyo e polo. Ngama wuotho yore Yesu ngeye nene.
Thank you so much, Baba Askofu.
Bwana sifiwe. Koro an kagi koro Gov'T en wadwa. Ujuzi tipo. Professor Betwilo Gov'T ukilo nyamin bo. The first MP Mararieda. Bende wan go very close nikech an ka jatelo mar kanisa akonu ni an Archbishop Abogno amna ka okar ballet Archbishop Dr. Matthew Ajuoga. To one code Ongalo Mirando Secondary School, one code Nyamor Secondary School, one code Migoa Secondary School, wachako from nursery nyaka secondary kane en jalo mneja jama in the leo ka chege jomo lo weduto. Gudokero kamano omiyo ka yudo wach kata kanyocha awinjo kendo se land ninja sai memodo koro dio yue tigiro kamano kura wacho niya
yudo ka Baba Askofu osebiro wabro winjo wach Nyasaye kendo the nuclear family ema bro yudo kinde mondo losie kindeno. Ikonane ni
Vicky Caroline osebedo machiegni ahinya ko. Koro dahero mondo wachiel ariyo kapok abedo wuoyo matin. Ang'eny sani kaka bang' wicho osiepwa Bob Mabana. Koro ka lure ga gi chik, oneno ka biro ka